By the end of this video, I'll show you how to know if you are self-sabotaging and how to break free of this unhealthy cycle so your business can finally grow the way you want it to. So let's dive in. First, I'm going to uncover how to know if you're really self-sabotaging. Is this self-sabotage, or is it just something that really happened? Then I'm going to reveal the 6 reasons why you could be doing it in the first place. Next, I'm going to show you 7 ways that it could be taking you out of your business and creating more results that you don't want. By the end of this video, you'll know how to get to the root cause of your self-sabotaging behavior and how to clear it for good. So let's get started. So what is self-sabotage anyway, and why do we end up doing it? And I can tell you, every single person does it. I have yet to meet anyone, no matter how successful they are, that doesn't have some self-sabotage pattern. So you have a conscious intention to create something in your business, and then the subconscious mind kicks in and starts interfering with what your conscious intention is. So have you ever engaged in a self-destructive behavior? Have you ever noticed that you have a pattern that keeps feeling like, oh my God, didn't I just experience this over and over again? Do you feel unmotivated when you're about to do something important? Like all of a sudden you feel like you're about to take the action that might actually move your business forward, but then you feel completely unmotivated, or maybe you even procrastinate in the process. Or you feel like you're not good enough, or even feel like an imposter when you're about to achieve a goal. Now, all of those things are signs that you may actually be self-sabotaging. And now I'm going to show you what it actually looks like and why you do it in the first place. Now, this is going to be a kind of crazy idea, but we each have, I call them wealth set points when they come to money, but essentially it is an upper limit. We have an upper limit of how much good we can allow ourselves to feel. We're not accustomed to feeling happy all the time, or feeling good all the time. So we actually have an upper limit of how good we allow ourselves to feel. Now there's another reason that this happens. Let's say over here is your comfort zone. This is what you keep cycling in over and over again, and I like to call it like a hamster wheel that you keep cycling in over and over again. But here, it's over here. This is your comfort zone, right? But what you want is outside your comfort zone. Now here's the problem. It requires uncertainty and stepping into the unknown, which feels really scary to the subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind's number one job is to keep you not dead. And it doesn't know if I step out of here and do something different, I'm not going to be dead. I'm going to stay alive. And so what happens is you step out, you start taking action, you start seeing results, you start getting momentum, and all of a sudden that subconscious mind kicks in and brings you right back into the comfort zone, aka cue the self-sabotage. The underlying root of that is often feeling not deserving, not worthy, unlovable. Now I can tell you that you may not be aware that that's what's really going on, but there has yet to be a client that I have worked with. And again, this doesn't matter if they have $100 million as their net worth. There has yet to be a client that I have worked with who doesn't have this at some level, that they feel undeserving, unworthy, unlovable, and that's ultimately what's creating the results, because more good in their life. I don't deserve to have more good in my life. I don't deserve to have more success in my life. I don't deserve to have it be easy. I don't deserve to not work all the time for what I want. Now, these aren't mine anymore, but they were all at one time. But this is typically what I see in my clients when they come to me, and in all the people I actually talk to when we start diving deep into what's creating these self-sabotage patterns. Now, another reason why we self-sabotage is because we can't control what's going on. And it tends to lead to overthinking and focusing on what could go wrong. Well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? Well, what if this happens, right? There's a lot of what ifs, but yes, right? Or I can't do this because. And as a result, this leads to self-sabotage. I like to turn those questions on the head and call them what if up. Well, what if good things happened as a result of this? What if I gained this instead? What if I actually was really successful at that? And again, it allows your subconscious mind then to kick in. You have this part of your subconscious mind called the reticular activating system. system, which goes in search of what you're focused on and what it thinks is important based on what's going on in your subconscious mind. And when you ask what if up questions, then it allows you, the quality of your questions will determine the answer you receive. And so when you ask better quality questions, then all of a sudden you start receiving better answers, known as results, in your life. Can I do this? The fear of failure, imposter syndrome, which goes ultimately back to not feeling deserving, worthy, or good enough, or lovable, right? So many people are questioning, can I really do this? Or they're afraid of failure in the process. And that fear of failure, maybe you failed before, and what happens is your subconscious mind, when you start to take a similar action, goes, wait a minute, you failed before, so you're going to fail again in this, even though that might not happen this time, but now you've projected your past onto your future, and it's caused self-sabotage to take you out of the aligned action so that the results you get will look like what your past did, instead of breaking free from that pattern. Now, this is one that may be hard for a lot of people to understand, but you're actually addicted to your emotions, right? So you actually have a habit, and I mean that in an addiction sort of way, but it's also a habit, right? So what does that mean? Well, all the emotions of stress, the hormones of stress, adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine, are actually addictive to the body. And when you start experiencing these things because you're in fight or flight, you're afraid of failing, you're actually experiencing results you don't want, then you become addicted to these hormones and you start experiencing feel-good hormones, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I need another hit. I need another hit of that cortisol. And so you self-sabotage so you can go back into that habituated pattern of actually experiencing those hormones of stress. So I really love to help my clients break free of these self-sabotage patterns and transform their scarcity mindset to abundance. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on these videos that will really help you take your business to the next level. So next I'm going to give you some self-sabotage signs, right? Because what it looks like for everyone is unique. So what happens is your subconscious mind knows what makes you most insecure, how to play on your insecurities the most, and it will bring up something in your experience that will play on that level of insecurity and take you out from taking action or effective action or maybe no action in your business, so that you can then start to learn how to spot these unique signs for you. The first one is self-criticism. We're doing this self-chatter. I like to call it the itty bitty shitty committee. And that's like this, it's almost like those cartoons that used to have the devil and the angel, and the devil sitting there smack talking you the whole time, right? And what you need to do is wipe that right off your shoulder and allow it to create a different experience for you so that you're only speaking loving thoughts. What happens when that itty bitty shitty committee starts talking smack to you is it brings up so much doubt. It makes you question yourself, and it takes you out of the kind of action that you want to be taking. So one of the things that I really suggest is talk to yourself like you would talk to a loved one. Like if a loved one was having this experience, if your best friend were having this experience, would you be talking the same things that you talk to yourself to that person? And would you allow anyone else to be saying those things to you? Then don't say them to yourself. When you have that inner self-criticism also, it downplays your accomplishments. So you're not acknowledging your accomplishments. And what you want to do is acknowledge every success, regardless of how big or small. Because the more that you can acknowledge yourself and what you're actually accomplishing, again, even if it feels tiny, the more that you can get comfortable acknowledging that, the more it will allow you to have more experiences that you can actually acknowledge. So one of the ways that, again, we self-sabotage is by having a negative self and world view. We tend to be very pessimistic about things, and that pessimism is actually, again, creating self-sabotage in your business, because you cannot take inspired and intelligent action from a negative place. When you're in fight, flight, or freeze, you cannot take inspired and intelligent action. So getting out of that pessimism and into a place of hopefulness will really really shift your ability to, again, take inspired and intelligent action, because the results that you're getting are based on the feelings that you're having in the moment. And when you're having negative feelings, it's moving it into form in a negative form as opposed to a positive form. And so what you want to do is shift your energy into a positive form so that you can finally start having those positive experiences. Another way that we self-sabotage is through procrastination, right? Now, people think I'm procrastinating because I'm not motivated, I'm not wanting to do this. No, there's a real underlying belief that's causing this, and it's usually a fear of success or fear of failure or both. Maybe it's a fear of being alone. I cannot tell you how many of my clients, because they make pretty good money and they are pioneers in what they're doing, they're so afraid they're going to outgrow everyone in their lives. And so they end up procrastinating or not taking the kind of action that they want to, but it has nothing to do with them not being motivated or not being able to take the action. So understanding what the root cause of the procrastination is key. Disorganization is another way that this shows up for people. I actually had a client that I was working with who kept saying to me, God, if I could just get this stuff organized in my business, I know it would take my business to the next level. And when I tuned in to understand what the root of why it was, this one's going to surprise you. It was actually because she was afraid that if she became successful, she would end up leaving her mediocre marriage. Right? So many of my clients are struggling in their relationships too, and they're holding themselves back from the level of success. And this doesn't matter if they're male or female, but they're holding themselves back from the level of success because they're afraid that they're going to leave their relationships. But here's what happens when you start doing the inner work. When you start doing the inner work, it makes the outer work work, and that means your relationships also. So the vast majority of my clients, maybe 1% of my clients, actually end up leaving their marriages. The other 99% actually marriages get significantly better as a result of them doing their inner work and them changing their relationship to their relationship. Now, another way we self-sabotage is overindulgence. That might mean overeating. It might mean wine therapy or drug therapy. It might mean retail therapy. There's a TV, sex, porn, whatever it is. There's a variety of ways in which we overindulge and take ourselves out to numb ourselves out because the feeling that we have are so uncomfortable. Now, I actually talk about this a lot in one of my videos on distraction, of how to conquer distraction, because essentially what you're trying to distract yourself from is this discomfort that you're really feeling, and that's what these things are. And when you get to the front side of it, you actually don't have to have that, but they are holding you back from the level of success you want. So you really want to get a handle and get some support around how to deal with it. I have other of my clients who initiate conflicts, and they don't even realize that they're initiating them because it sure feels like these are the conflicts that are coming up at the time. I have clients that create conflicts with their spouses or with their children or with other friends or with team members. It can happen with any people, and it starts to happen just as they're starting to get massive momentum and get a lot of results in their business. I had one client who literally, like every single time she'd enroll 3 or 4 clients in a week, which would most she'd ever enrolled before, all of a sudden she'd have a massive fight with her husband, and it would take her out of her business for 2 weeks. And then when we were able to identify the pattern and clear it, she was like, oh my God. She thought it was him. She thought it was all him, and she didn't realize how she was doing it to stop her from the level of success that she really wanted. And the last one that we're going to talk about is a disease I call comparisonitis. And that means really essentially what you're doing is comparing everybody else's highlight reels to your worst case scenario. And this is what people do naturally all the time. I have a client whose biggest self-sabotage pattern was comparison. And he used to feel like everybody in his field was doing so much better than he was, which isn't true. Actually, in his field, I can say that I think it was something like 80% of people in his particular field made far significantly less money. Like, I think their average income was like $40,000 or $50,000. He was making far more than that. So this is what we do, though, is we compare other people and what they're doing. And then we shame and we guilt ourselves for not being there as a result. And it's a pretty toxic experience when we do that, but it will definitely take you out of next level success in your business. The key to really do this is to understand what are the limiting beliefs underlying all of these things that are creating this in the first place, and then clear them so that you can stop this self-sabotaging pattern, spot it the minute it starts to happen, be able to clear it, and not let it take you out from next level business success that you want. Now, this is something that I teach my clients to do all the time, but there's a variety of different ways to do that. I have tons of videos on my channel that talk about how to clear these self-sabotaging patterns and negative beliefs we have in our mindset. So why don't you browse my channel and you'll find a lot of them that will help you clear this. Now that we've talked about the why and the what behind the self-sabotage, check out this video on why do I self-sabotage when things are going well, because it will help you take your clearing of your self-sabotage to the next level so you can throw it to the curb. It will help you take the clearing of your self-sabotage to the next level so you can kick it to the curb for good. Thanks, I'm Alaina, and I'll see you on the next video.